Hey, this is John Shea, and you're listening to the Out of the Rat Race podcast, a fun educational podcast brought to you by LI RIA. LI RIA is a real estate networking organization comprised of top quality rated leaders in the professional world of real estate investing. LI RIA offers education, funding services tailored to fit real estate investors' needs, access to professionals, and a mentorship program with a proven industry track record of success. So sit back, relax, and get ready to hear the lessons, stories, and opportunities we provide that have helped and continue to help people just like you get out of the rat race and find financial independence through real estate investing. So, hello everyone, this is John, and I'm joined by Anthony Camardella today. He's a handsome new face and the Chief Operating Officer for our organization. Welcome, Anthony.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is honestly an honor.
Thanks for coming on the show. So I do want to have a chat with you and have you tell the listeners about you and your background. But first, I want to tell everybody about the upcoming event in August, followed by a quick opinion and a short story that I came up with to use as an analogy for our company. So the event, it's August 13th at the Huntington Hilton in Melville. The doors open at 6:30 and the event runs till 9 p.m. Is that correct, Anthony?
Yep. As always, we have our monthly RIA meetings, right? LI RIA meets on the second Tuesday of every month. And Melissa Shea and obviously yourself, you guys have been doing this for a long time. Me and the crew come on down there and we have 6 to 9. Yep, 6:30 to 9. We have people coming on the 13th.
Excellent. So this month's topic is lead generation for off-market deals. There's going to be networking, education, the state of real estate with Michael J. Mulholland, and of course, a live question and answer session. Go to the Out of the Rat Race podcast.com, hit the events tab and sign up. I promise you guys, this is priceless information and it's going to be a great event. Okay.
Do it.
What was that?
I said, do it.
Do it. So my opinion, the minute that you show interest and address yourself as an investor, you are one. Even if you've never done a deal, a fisherman is still a fisherman, even if he hasn't caught a fish. Pretty good opinion, 100%. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. I think the first stage for anybody in anything is obviously interest.
Right. And then calling yourself that and letting the dream come alive.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I actually woke up a few nights ago with this like analogy in my head, and I put a short story together. It's in sock puppets and crayons format because that's the way I do things. And just try not to fall asleep and bear with me for a minute.
Go for it.
I got a 6-year-old boy. We'll call him Steve for the purpose of this. He watches a YouTube video of some guy fishing. He reels in a big one, takes it to the market, and sells it for a profit. Steve decides right then and there, it looks easy, fun, and he's going to be a fisherman when he gets older. He keeps doing his research, and as he gets older, he gets his first job at a fast food restaurant. He takes his first paycheck, blows it at the store, buying a cheap rod and reel, some bait and tackle, because he's not getting paid much, right? Fast food. Well, these days you might get paid a little bit more, right?
You always get the perk of free food.
Yeah, there you go. He heads down to the water to start his quote-unquote part-time job, tosses the reel into the water. He notices all the big ships are coming back into harbor, from their day of fishing. 3 hours later, he's got nothing worth keeping. So he tries again the next day after work. Same time, different location. Again, nothing worth keeping. And once again, the ships are all coming back into harbor. So it dawned on him. Ships are coming back right now with their catches. That's probably because the fishing is better earlier in the day. So the next day, Steve wakes up early so he could go try it again, this time before work. And he catches one fish. Super excited that he actually caught something for the first time. He takes it home, puts it in the fridge so he could eat it after work. So he didn't even try to sell it, right?
Yeah.
Time goes on and he keeps going fishing and trying different things, going to different locations at different times, using different tackle and bait. Nothing improves, and Steve is just ready to give up. He's packing up for which may be his last time as a fisherman, and some dude walks past him and goes, "Hey, did you catch anything?" And Steve goes, "Nope." The guy says to him, "Get a boat. The best fish are out there in the open ocean," as he's pointing out to the waters. So Steve saved up and gets a fishing boat, a ship, or for the purposes of the analogy, a membership. Steve gets his boat, the fishing's good, and Steve is now a full-time successful fisherman. So The basis of this analogy is that I see LIREA as a ship that's going to take you into open waters. It has all the best equipment already installed in it. We've got navigational equipment. It's going to lead you in the right direction through our education and workshops. Weather alerts and depth finders. That's our State of the Real Estate Report with Michael Mulholland. Amazing communication equipment that allows you to talk with other captains that are fishing in the same waters. That's networking. Going around and talking to people that are doing it is the most important thing. They're going to tell you where not to go and everything like that, or stuff that they did to become successful. We have fish finders so that you could actually see the catch that you're going to get, and those are our opportunities to invest. So you could stay on the land and try to catch fish, and you may, but we pride ourselves on our fleet being the fastest, most profitable ships in the waters.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, well done, man. And the story hits home, I think, for so many people that don't understand, right? Like, we've all heard this saying before, like, you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go further, you go together, right? So I'm sure maybe you'll go out there, you'll probably find maybe one or two quick deals. Will they be super profitable? Will they get you very far? No. And I think your story truly hits home on that.
Thank you very much. And being on the island, it's a good story. Fishermen,
Oh yeah, no, we know it well.
Yep. So once again, a privilege to have you on the show. And now I'm going to drill you with some questions. Okay, you ready?
Perfect. I'm ready.
Give me a little bit of an autobiography on Anthony Camardella.
Yeah. So a lot of people may or may not know. I feel like I don't tell this story enough, but my dad was a general contractor, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom up until my 11th birthday, and then my dad had a stroke, and then my mom became the maid breadwinner of the house, and she did that by going and getting a job as a mortgage loan processor.
Okay.
So my first introduction to real estate actually came through her at that job. So that's kind of where it all kicked off. And my dad ended up making a semi-good recovery. He was actually just around here at the office yesterday putting together some furniture for us. Gotcha. Shout out, Dad. But it was definitely an eye-opener for me because I got to see some really drastic differences in life. Growing up, my dad was doing well with his business, and then when he got sick, obviously finances took a turn. So
how long was his recovery?
Overall, it probably took him close to 5 years for everything to kind of like smooth back out and for him to get use of his left side again. I mean, it was really long. He jumped back up to work almost immediately and was bossing around. He had a construction company, so he was shouting at people, but undoubtedly my mom had to fill gaps. And she did fill gaps, and she will never admit to that to this day. If you ask her, she says that she did not. She was not the breadwinner, that his business was keeping us very much afloat during that time. But, breadwinner doesn't just mean paying the bills entirely. It also means providing for your family.
Right.
And having two children, me and my younger sister, my mom realized that my dad was meeting ends meet, but there was literally nothing to put clothes on my back or, any of the things that we would want as kids at 13 and, it's my seven. Right. So 13 and 7. So that part of life really shaped a lot of how I view finances, a lot of why I'm in real estate today. And, it taught me on how quickly things really turn around from everything being sunshine and rainbows to, not.
Yeah. And, shout out to your mom, too, because she also had to, deal with the emotional baggage that your father was probably carrying at that time because, whenever I'd get injured on the job or something like that, I felt very less of a person because of it. You know what I mean? So if your mom kept bringing him up and everything, that's something that happened before behind closed doors while maintaining your guys' emotions. Very powerful woman, it sounds like.
Oh yeah. No, she took the reins when stuff hit the fan.
That's excellent. So I do have my own opinion, and trust me, it's not a bad one. But I want to know what you think makes you stand out in the world of real estate.
I think probably it has a lot to do with the fact that I don't try to be something that I'm not, and I more importantly try to stay very friendly with people. I think it's got a lot to do with how much I've seen. The diversity of my background, the diversity of my upbringing, that contrast in life that, I've been on the good side of things, but I've certainly, we had a house fire while my dad was sick and we lost everything in the entire house, and we ended up living in a mobile home, and I shared a 2-bedroom mobile home with the four of us, with me and my little sister and my mom and dad. And I don't know if you've ever been in a mobile home before, but the walls are very thin.
Right.
So, 13 years old, and no walls, like you don't get time to shower very long or anything like that. Like you're just wasn't great. The house got rebuilt and we didn't live in that mobile home forever, but the experience just in itself, I've never walked into a mobile home again and not had an instant flashback of the 12 months or 8 months that I spent in one, because you just don't forget those moments.
Was it on property? I've seen a lot of times as house fires and they bring the mobile home to the property.
Unfortunately, we didn't have the room. They put it on my grandmother's property, which wasn't far, but it was weird, like my bus stop changed and stuff. I had friends that lived in the neighborhood that, my new house was a mobile home on the side of my grandmother's house. Like, you don't have much money to start school. So of course this house fire happened over the summer. Had to go back to school with 2 outfits, and, it just wasn't a great moment. And that contrast, that whole yeah, I've had my own bedroom, but I've also had to share a bedroom with my little sister, and I've had things and I've lost things. So no matter where you are in life, as one of my clients, I think you've understood that I've probably been in your shoes.
Right. And that says something about you too, because you lost everything, right? So you might not have personal attachments to little things anymore because you lost it all. You probably pack very light. Is what I'm saying. But
absolutely,
you appreciate the things that you have more now, and that's really good, Anthony. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And sorry you had to go through that as 13
I'm not.
years old.
I'm not. I'm so grateful for my past, man. I am. I'm so grateful for it. Everything that happened to me happened for me. I'm such in belief of that.
And the financial security of your parents is what, and probably the proper insurance and stuff like that, is why you guys were able to get back on your feet. And
well, my dad had a contracting crew, right? So the clean out happened fast, and there were certain things that obviously we bounced back probably better than some in that situation, but it hasn't been without test, my dad will tell you, the house fire was probably enough, and and they got hit with 2 floods, and I was there for one of them. So you're talking about a family that's lost belongings more than once in a lifetime.
Right.
So we've thrown a lot of things in dumpsters, but the one thing we pride ourselves on is we still have a lot of photo albums. So we always say the tangible important things we've been able to keep. And that's probably it's one of the most important. So you'll take an account of the things that I actually have that matter to me and the things that I don't. So it really just depends.
And now with the cloud, we don't even have to worry about saving that stuff anymore. Everything just goes in the air, and everybody's able to take way more pictures, to where pictures really don't mean much anymore. I have I have 5,000 pictures on my phone. We didn't have 5,000 pictures between my family when I was growing up. So it's just amazing.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
It definitely makes you jaded. So
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I just watched a YouTube video, interestingly enough, though, that brought up the fact that digital assets are so much further away from what we had growing up. So it's good to write notes, and I think it's good to keep scrapbooks again. I really am going back into printing the most important photos to me.
Right.
Because I don't own my iCloud. None of us do.
Yeah, that's true. And you can lose it in a heartbeat, which happened to me. I had the whole thing disappear on me.
Yeah, and the last thing you want are the newborn photos of your kids, right? You don't want that stuff caught in a cloud. I think the most important thing should be managed and held well. Get yourself a fire safe and put it in some waterproof packaging. And those are my 2 life hacks for making sure you don't lose the things important to you.
There you go. Those are good life hacks. Those are things to live by. All right. So all bullshit aside.
Yeah.
We were talking about what I think is Steve. What Steve wanted to be when he grew up, and he knew right off the bat. Who did Anthony want to be when he got older?
He wanted to be a police officer.
Really?
Yeah. I took the New York City police exam. I went to Suffolk Community College for criminal justice, specifically law enforcement. I even left high school early to go to BOCES and take the law enforcement program because I was so convinced that that's what I was going to do.
And then what changed that?
I had the heart-to-heart with myself, and I said, self, if you ever find $100,000 that belongs to a bad man, would you steal it and give it to a good man? And I said, you're damn right I would. And I said, I probably shouldn't be a police officer then.
Well, at least you were able to stop your own corruption.
100%. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, and there, the pay during my entry time into the NYPD, which shame on the NYPD for this. They were debating the idea of forcing the cadets that started to work in the boroughs that they were working in. They were toying with the idea. I don't think they ever actually enforced it, but it was enough to scare me off. They were toying with the idea of forcing you to live within the borough that you worked. So $28,000 a year would have been the entry fee during that time of 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, there's overtime. Yeah, I would have been able to transfer out, eventually gotten to Nassau or Suffolk. There was a whole trajectory to try to get me there. And I appreciated the idea of working towards that. But I also knew that I could make $60,000 to $70,000 my first year as a real estate agent, which was 2 to 3 times the amount that they were promising me, and I didn't have to get shot at. And it only took 75 hours to get the real estate. Well, 45 hours when I got my real estate license. I don't want to say that real estate just sounded better, but my mom was actually very upset that I didn't move forward with the police officer job. She says, "I want you to have a pension. I want you to have that steady paycheck, and then you could always sell real estate on the side." And yeah, I said to her those life sacrifices I would make to have a career over making a career would probably leave me shorter where I wanted to be. And
But now now you're with real estate investors, so you're able to kind of create your own pension and your
100%.
Anthony's own 401k, which through buy and holds, they'll pay you forever. I mean,
the last 10 years in real estate has paid me 3 times the amount that I would have made if I would have actually been a police officer getting ready to retire, which I would have gotten. I would have been getting ready to retire. So
really, yeah. And speaking of police officers, I'm actually going to be interviewing one this next week and putting out a podcast on that. And I forget if he's in New York City or Suffolk. You might know. Jovi?
Yeah. I'm so hard. I think he's Suffolk. And then I think his spouse also was a first responder of some type. And I mean, look, shout out to all the police officers, nurses, and everyone who just do it. One of the things I hate about awards inside of real estate is that they're not given out to police officers for them doing their job on a given day. But for some reason, our industry needs to put awards on it. So I'll pass any award anybody ever wants to give me on to a police officer who actually goes out there and does something meaningful every day. But I knew that wasn't supposed to be me. So.
All right. Well, if it was, I'd give you an award.
Thanks.
Putting your life on the line and getting shit for it from other people.
100%.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all.
100%.
So you started off as a real estate agent, and then where'd you go from there?
Yeah, so from real estate agent, which was a struggling thing because I did it in my 20s while being 20s. And then I moved on to team leader. I found this following of people that kept asking me for advice, and I said, I should actually make something out of this. So I loosely formed a team, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And the 3rd time stuck. And after the 3rd time, things went really well. And I realized that my passion for teaching and seeing the excitement, you teach a man to fish, right? You feed him for life. That whole excitement that I got out of doing that for all the agents that I've brought into the industry that are still selling houses today and everything, I wanted to do that at scale. So I got into real estate coaching after building the team. And the real estate coaching, when you know it, let me hear. And now we're doing the COO thing for the company, and I still do my real estate coaching for Jared James, which thank you very much for Jared for giving me that opportunity. It's been 13 years of knowing him, and any opportunity he's ever had to open a door for me, he's done so. And I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for kind of walking through a lot of those open doors. And same thing goes for yourself and Melissa too. You guys opened some doors for me as well, and very appreciative of it.
Absolutely. And, so I also heard that you have a book coming out. And
yeah,
what is that about?
So, I've been I turned 40 June 2nd this year, which because you guys threw me a wonderful party. Thank you.
Again, happy birthday.
Thank you. So it made me realize that without getting overly sappy and dramatic about the entire thing. Like, life is short, right? So when you think about the fact that I've probably lived 50% of my life expectancy already, have I crossed off some of the mile markers that I would have expected to by getting to this point, right? And I do want to say that I think I have, right? My family is great, my home life is great. I have a lot of things that are really supportive of me, and overall, like, down to the dogs, which drive us both nuts. But my God, I've checked a lot of those boxes. But real estate has no retirement plan. When you leave the industry, no one even notices, actually.
Right.
There's no planned retirement plan. There's no last day. There's no clock out. Like,
There's no gold
literally,
watch. There's no gold watch
no,
given to you either.
no. You literally just do your last deal one day and you disappear. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that that thought scared the hell out of me. So the book is called From Farm to Closing Table.
Okay.
And it's most of what I have done, plus a lot of new stuff that's come about, because I think everyone has to remember, when I got into real estate I was 23 and it was 2007. You know, you could barely buy Zillow leads. They weren't available yet. Facebook marketing really wasn't where it's at today, and social media barely existed to the extent where it does right now. So all the new ways that people know how, look, you could probably buy someone's book on social media, but farming and creating relationships has been everything that's gotten me to where I am today, including sitting with you, right?
Right.
It's really always been the relationships. And I wanted to pass that on to anybody who truly wants to get out of the rat race of real estate.
There you go.
Because, that constant need to go fishing by yourself instead of getting on a boat one day and coming back with enough fish to eat for a month, maybe, I think is so crucial for people to understand at an earlier age, in an earlier part of their career, because it took too long for me to learn it. Right. So I'm 18 years into the industry, and it took the better part of the first 8 years. And then I put those real lessons to practice for 10 years. And now I have a life that is very much comfortable. And I don't worry about when my next closing is. And I'm not fearful on where I can get business from. And I'm not worried about losing anything for the lack of being able to get into the idea of, where does business come from? So once again, I wrote the book because I wanted to give something back to the industry that gave me the peace of mind to never have to worry about where I was making money from again. And it just was kind of like a thank you, I guess, to the industry itself. Like, because, it's not about to give me a gold watch, but it's giving me plenty of them at the same time. Right. So while no one will be awaiting my retirement day, and who knows, it might have already came already. But it surely, I needed to do something to make sure that I myself felt like I was closing a chapter to something that really was very special and important to me for very long. And I wanted to pass that gift along. So there's the book.
Excellent. When does that come out?
So we are putting the finishing touches on it. I think the copyright is actually waiting to be approved. It's in now. So the first copy of it should honestly be published by the end of next week. So fingers crossed if that actually goes smooth.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see the book by August 1st. That's my goal.
Okay, and then we'll put a link for it on the website and everything, so that the listeners can purchase it too.
Thank you.
Would you consider yourself actually out of the rat race, or do you think you get into the finishing line?
I'm in a new race.
Okay.
I said something to somebody the other day. I was like, I used to be a player on the field, and now I'm sitting in an owner's box. It doesn't mean that I don't have to work anymore, though. Just my work's a lot different. It's at a different level that requires a lot more time. I'm actually spending more time in the office now than I did as a real estate agent. That's just the byproduct of the position that I've decided to move into. But that's, yes, essentially, if you can create yourself enough systems and processes to take care of something that's sustainable, you could find yourself out of any kind of rat race. You just have to be willing to make sure that you commit to something that's structured and consistent enough to create some predictability in a business that it honestly doesn't have much predictability to it, but you can make it. That's the nice thing about this business.
Very well put. Okay, so this month's event is on lead generation and off-market deals.
Yep.
Putting you on the spot, so don't get mad.
Yeah.
But
No, not at all.
What would you say to me that would make me want to attend this event? Like, what lessons am I going to learn?
Yeah, honestly, I think you'd probably just have to watch some of our testimonials from some of our students, which are definitely out there for the scene. If you've ever wondered what you would do if you lost your job tomorrow, I have the answer for you.
What is that?
Just come down to the event and we'll tell you.
Very well put. Well put. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No. I mean, this is so much fun. Thank you.
All right, no problem, man. Again, an absolute privilege that you've taken the time out of your incredibly busy day to speak with me. I really do appreciate it. Can't wait to have you on the show again. And guys, we have a lot of amazing people like Anthony in our organization. Anthony's like one of the most important sails on our ship. Go to outoftherratracepodcast.com, register, and sign up for August's event. Lead generation for off-market deals. You're going to learn how to bait hooks in chum waters. Go to the contact section of the website and tell me things you want to hear about. If you have questions for Anthony, you could also write me. I'll ask him. And if there's enough of them, I'll bring him back on the show to have him talk about them. And when you see me at the events, please stop by and say hello. Special thanks to you, Anthony, Melissa, Bobby, and everyone else that helps bring you this content. Until next time, love you guys. Peace.
Thanks, guys.